What's going on YouTube? We're spending the day with the last vehicle in America with all trims starting under $20,000.
That's right, under 20 grand. And this is your last chance to get one.
So, should you head to your Mitsubishi dealership and snag one while they last? Well, let's go ahead and find out. So first off, let's talk about what is under the hood of this Mitsubishi Mirage. So it is a small car after all, and it does have a small engine under here. It is a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder engine, and it makes 74 horsepower and 76 pound-feet of torque. Now that is going to be paired to a continuously variable transmission, and our combined fuel economy is 37 mpg.
Now, of course, we can't wait to show you what that is like out on the road. We'll also be getting our sound level reading and discussing resale and reliability.
But we'll go ahead and close up the hood and take a look at the exterior as well as the interior of this Black Edition. Now, like I was just mentioning, we have the Black Edition. So what this does to this model is basically give you some spicier and sportier elements to the overall look. That means up here in the front with our simple grille, we have the gloss black accents, and then we've got the additional red accenting that goes throughout. You'll also notice down here with our lower fascia, we have a faux carbon fiber trim with more of that red accenting. I wasn't expecting to see that on a vehicle with about 70 horsepower. Now let's talk about the headlights. Most models, all but the base model actually, have automatic headlights. They're halogens on all but the fully loaded model. That's the model where you can get the full LED option. We also have, of course, your halogen turn signal indicator, and then fog lights are an available option. And then as we move to the back, of course, you do have a fairly simple design, but with some spicy elements for that Black Edition.
Yeah, so that's pretty much just going to be this spoiler up top. And as far as other design touches, we have a chrome piece through the middle, and Drew's hopping inside so we can check out the taillights and see if the elements are LED. So as you can see, I'm very surprised to tell you that for a vehicle that is extremely affordable, we actually do have LED taillights. And that's standard on every single Mirage. Now, it's not going to be all the elements, but your accenting as well as your brake light is LED, so about the same as most other mainstream vehicles. That's pretty impressive. Now, down here at the bottom, we kind of have a carbon fiber looking trim, but we're not going to have any exposed exhaust outlets.
Now, moving on to the wheels. We have some of the smallest wheels that Mason and I have ever seen when we're testing out a vehicle. You have standard 14-inch alloys, and then these are the 15-inch alloys that come on the Black Edition. As you can see, it has a gloss black finish on board. But really the more noteworthy thing is actually how narrow these tires are. As you can see, I can actually just grab this and go the entire width here. It's approximately 6 inches wide overall, so very, very narrow. Up top, we have gloss black finish for our mirrors, and these are power adjusting.
Now at the side of the Mirage, I do want to point out we have the G4, which is otherwise known as like the sedan version. They did also offer a hatchback, although the sedan is the only thing that's on sale right now, so keep that in mind. 169 inches in overall length. And I do want to point out, check this out. We actually have a two-tone kind of roof design, so this is all going to be blacked out to give you that sportier look here on the Black Edition. Of course, it's not a panoramic moonroof, but it is nice that they give you that design choice. Now, Mitsubishi is including forward emergency braking as standard equipment on every single Mirage, and as you move up the trim structure, that's where you're going to add additional things, even including lane departure warning. But let's go ahead and dive into the inside and see what you're going to get in there. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Before we get any further into this review, we want to tell you about today's sponsor, Ethos. We're very aware that driving cars for a living, and especially fast ones, can be a dangerous proposition. So while we want to have fun and show you the blast you can have in cars, we also know the importance of having a plan in place in case something were to happen.
I just got married about a year ago and bought my first home this year. A mortgage is likely the largest debt you'll take on, and if something were to happen, I wouldn't want to burden my growing family with crippling bills they can't afford. That's why I went to Ethos to look into getting life insurance. Beneficiaries can spend life insurance payouts on anything, helping your family maintain their lifestyle and take care of expenses so they can focus on what is really important, each other.
Traditionally, though, life insurance has been expensive, confusing, and time-consuming to get. Ethos, on the other hand, focuses on creating a seamless customer experience. Applying is easy, 100% online. No medical exams or blood tests required for coverage up to $2 million.
According to Investopedia, premiums can increase by 8 to 10% each year you wait to purchase life insurance. So the time is now. Get your free life insurance quote today by scanning the QR code on the screen. Sleep better at night knowing your family will be protected no matter what happens. Now let's go ahead and get back to the video.
All right, let's go ahead and climb inside. First, we'll look at the key. As you can see, just kind of the basic style key with keyless entry. That is a standard feature, surprisingly, and then you have smart entry as available on the top trim level, so you can just, press the unlock button there, grab underneath those door handles, which look like the new BMW door handles, by the way, so they have that in common. Now, taking a look at the interior, as you can see, indeed, you do get an interior even at this price point. And what are you going to get? Well, you're going to get cloth seats, as you would expect. These are not the most basic looking cloth seats, though. As you can see, we have a pretty soft material on board, good stitching details that run down the side, and we have more of that accenting, which matches the accents on the exterior through the center section. They are 6-way manual adjusting, and you can make those adjustments right there, obviously. But let's go ahead and climb inside. All right, close up the door. Let's look at the rest of the cabin materials. Now, obviously, as one of the very most affordable vehicles in America, materials are going to be lower quality, obviously, but you do still have cloth trim over here on the part where you rest your arm. You have some faux carbon fiber around your window switches. By the way, it is an automatic window for the driver. More cloth through here, and then a hard touch plastic along the top part. The hard plastic will continue across all of the dash areas. You have some piano black accenting around your vents. But let's go ahead and fire it up. Now, you don't see this too often these days, but we do have the traditional key on board. But you can get a push button start. That's available on the very top trim. All right, so let's go through some of the individual details. Start out with our gauge cluster, of course. Very simple design. You've got the small little display there with just some basic information. This car is all about being simple, kind of keeping it the old school way and not doing a bunch of extra fluff. And you'll see that with those gauges. One of the things, though, I have to say I am so surprised to see, we have rain-sensing wipers on board. This is actually on a couple of the trim levels for 2024. Now, as far as the steering wheel is concerned, the top models are going to come with the leather stitch steering wheel. This is a manual tilting steering wheel. Just be aware it doesn't telescope. And you've got some black accenting down here at the bottom. Now, in terms of overall interior storage, obviously not a ton, especially here in the middle, because we just have one cup holder right there. Make room for the handbrake right there. We do have an armrest, and this is availability was expanded for 2024, so more of the trims will have this for just the driver. Passenger doesn't get one. But over here, we've got our 2 cup holders. You have a little storage cubby, which is big enough to kind of stick your phone in there like so, and you do have one USB connection. Now, as far as the shifter is concerned, we have a gated automatic shifter. They don't offer the manual transmission anymore like they used to. You can go into low. You can actually activate a sport mode for the continuously variable transmission. And then when in reverse, we have the standard backup camera. As you can see, no active trajectory on board. but we do have a distance marker. And then I already mentioned that you have the traditional hand brake. Now, as we look above, you'll notice that we have our climate controls. This is actually an automatic climate control system on all trim levels. So you can just very quickly turn that on like so and make those adjustments right there. I was a little bit surprised to see that at this price point. And then above that, we have a traditional volume knob for our audio system. Across the board, all the models have 4 speakers, and let's give that a sample. You know, honestly, it's not too bad. I was expecting that this would be, not very good, but this is not the worst audio system I've ever heard, and that's saying something because this is, one of the least expensive vehicles we've ever reviewed. Now, as far as the display here, it kind of has this aftermarket look to it. It's 7 inches, and it does have really the functions that you're probably looking for. So it has Bluetooth audio. If you connect with the USB connection, you can also pull up Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and the overall touch response is actually quite good. Above that, you got your 2 vents here. The mirror obviously will be manual adjusting. You have some lighting up here at the top, and of course we do not have a sunroof.
Let's check out the rear seats of the Mirage G4. Now, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised because I know I was, because I was not expecting this much space. 37 inches of legroom, 37 inches of headroom. I'm 5'9" for reference. Drew is 5'8", and with it adjusted to his position, we are looking at a good amount of space. As a matter of fact, I brought my ruler with me. That's something we do in all of our car confections reviews. Look at that, 6.5 inches of knee room. My feet can also slide up underneath the seat, although be aware that you don't want to kick whatever cable that is. Now, what other features are you going to find? Well, surprisingly, you do have a fold-down center armrest. I was also pretty happy to see that. A lot of vehicles, even in the subcompact segment, are not including that. 2 cup holders inside, and we even have a trunk pass-through. That's an interesting little touch here with the Mirage. Now, as far as in the center, of course, you don't have any panels or anything, just this one little cup holder I guess you could borrow from the driver. Now, over on the door trim, hard touch pretty much from top, well, definitely from top to bottom, and we unfortunately do not have any door storage, although it looks like we do have room for it. Now, there's not a button under the lid to open up the trunk, so you have to do it here in the driver area or use the key itself. When we do that, we're going to have about 12.4 cubic feet of space here for the G4, which is the sedan version, about 17 cubic feet if you have the hatchback variety. Once again, that's actually not as bad as space figures as you might expect for something this affordable. Now, I do want to point out the seats are not going to fold, so the only thing that you have is that little trunk pass-through there, so keep that in mind. If we lift up the floor, underneath of this piece of cardboard, you will find a spare tire. I wonder if it's actually smaller than the actual tires. That would be interesting. And let's go ahead and get our Car Confections length, width, and height figures for our cargo area. About 35 inches of cargo length is what we are looking at. About 28 inches of width from the narrowest point. And then as far as height, pretty good, about 23 inches tall. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the Mitsubishi Mirage. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now. We'll also be getting our sound level reading. But first of all, we want to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration so you can see how the powertrain is going to perform in the real world.
$60 miles an hour.
There we go. Made it.
It does go to 60. You can make it there. It might take a little while to get there, though, especially if you have 3 people in the car. So at the spec dump, Obviously, we talked about that this has a very small engine, a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder. It doesn't have a turbocharger or anything like that either. Some of the models on the market now have 3 cylinders, but they have turbochargers. This does not have one. So you only have 76 horsepower and 74 pound-feet of torque. I can definitively say that is the lowest amount of horsepower and torque that we have ever driven, and I'm certain that that is the lowest amount of power you can get on any vehicle sold in the US right now. That being said, this car is all about, giving you what you need. So it does have an engine that gets you places. It's not about speed, obviously.
Yeah, and I mean, it is good enough, getting to the part where we do our test drive, we drove around in traffic. It's good enough to keep you up to speed with most of the traffic around you. If they take off a little faster, you will have to definitely get into that throttle to get you up to speed, but it's not maybe as bad as the numbers would suggest. It's certainly going to be pretty slow, though. That's your only engine option for the Mirage, so keep that in mind.
Now let's talk about the other aspect of the powertrain, and that is the fact that we have a continuously variable transmission. Like I mentioned at the beginning, or in the interior I should say, there used to be a manual offering. They don't have that anymore, so this is the only way that you can get it. That being said, it works reasonably well with the overall powertrain setup. Not going to have anything fancy going on with it, of course.
Yeah. And we are on our designated strip of road to get our sound level reading. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's toggled to fan speed 1, and we'll go ahead and get that going 55 miles per hour. .9 decibels is what we are sitting at for this Mitsubishi Mirage. Now, of course, that's not going to be the quietest car that you can buy, but overall, it's not too bad. Actually, quite a few of the subcompact SUVs that we've tested out have been in the 60 decibel range, so it's not too much louder than your average vehicle. And overall, I want to just mention ride quality as well. We went over those 2 bridges, and I think that was something that I was expecting to be a lot worse than it is. I think due to the really tiny wheels on the outside and, Mitsubishi just focusing on the comfort of the suspension, it's way more comfortable than I thought it was going to be, that's for sure. I mean, you're still going to feel some intrusions inside the cabin, but I can definitely think of vehicles that have worse ride quality, that's for sure, than this, which I'm happy to tell you at this price point, of course.
Right, and the other element that's delivering the pretty good ride, I think, is that the suspension is extremely soft. You can just tell that really as soon as you go around any corners. Like, there is profound body roll, especially for a small sedan. But again, I think that's the compromise they decided to make in order to give a small platform still good ride quality.
And stopping here at the stop sign, I do want to point out that you do not have an auto start stop system or anything really fancy going on when it comes to achieving good fuel economy, but you do actually still get good fuel economy because, of course, that engine is so small. We're sitting at 35, 41, 37 miles per gallon combined for this G4. The hatchback was rated a little bit higher at 39 mpg, but this model is 37. Mitsubishi claims that is the best fuel economy that you can get out of a non-hybrid on sale currently, so that's kind of your fun fact of the day. It is really good fuel economy for no hybridization going on. Imagine what would happen if they did put a hybrid on this. You might be getting like 60 miles a gallon. All right, now let's get into our slam dunk and airball, our favorite and least favorite element about the Mirage. Drew, why don't you kick us off with the slam dunk?
So the slam dunk is going to be basically the price and the value. This is kind of one of those, I say, don't knock it till you try it situations. If you don't need a lot of things, from your vehicle, you just want that back to basics approach and just kind of point A to point B transportation, this is a really good deal, and you have a few unexpected features, that you have like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, the rain sensing wipers I was really surprised by. So
yeah.
Yeah,
and then on the airball side of things, what we're going to say is just the overall like instability that you kind of feel when you're driving the vehicle. Drew can touch on this a little bit, but having a tire that is only about 6 inches wide means that you're not having a lot of rubber that meets the road, and that combined with the body roll that you experience just kind of makes it feel like a little bit scary to drive fast.
Yeah, once you get up to the higher speeds, this is a car that it wants to go slow and be in the city mostly. Let's just put it that way.
And lastly, let's talk about warranties. You're going to be very pleasantly surprised with this. You have a 5-year 60 basic warranty, a 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and for 2024 model year, Mitsubishi has added 3 years of complimentary maintenance. So you are really getting a ton of warranty and free maintenance. That's, of course, a huge deal when it comes to a vehicle like this, because really, I'd say at this price point, you're mostly cross-shopping with a used vehicle that's not going to have any warranty left on it whatsoever. So definitely happy to tell you all about that. Now let's talk pricing, because I'm sure you are curious about this. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and show you the price of this one first and foremost. Now, you might be thinking you're seeing a Mirage, but yes, all in, we are sitting at $20,000, and this is one of the highest end versions of the Mirage that you can get. You can actually get them as low as $16,695 or $17,795 if you choose the G4 model. So really, really affordable prices, and boy, isn't that just something that we need to see in today's inflation-filled economy, is just an affordable vehicle that you can keep hopefully for a long time. Now, if you're looking to buy a Mitsubishi Mirage or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you could do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a car is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's go ahead and dive into resale and reliability. So first up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Mitsubishi Mirage's potential resale. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 46.8% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 16.6%. Now, it's worth noting that's actually a little bit below industry average, but due to the low MSRP of this vehicle, I would maybe expect that to be a little higher.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. What this does is take into account several studies from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a holistic picture. In this regard, Mitsubishi ranks just about exactly at the overall industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values or reliability data, as well as our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Well, guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to get a lot of car reviews. And by a lot of car reviews, I mean affordable vehicles like this, as well as exotic vehicles and luxury cars as well. So pretty much anything that has wheels, we will review. So do yourself a favor and subscribe down below. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.